Hello everyone, welcome to JFO Aviation. Today in this video we are going over Chandelles. I think this is one of the more straightforward commercial maneuvers. And it's one that I had a lot of fun doing. So I'm excited to share it with you all today. This one is again, it's fairly straightforward, so it won't necessarily be a very involved video. But the idea is that we are completing a combined course and a course reversal and climb, right? This is a performance maneuver, so ideally we want to get the most altitude gain, right? The best performance out of our aircraft while we complete this course reversal. So, course reversal combined with a climb. And our goal is to extract as much performance as we can. So max performance maneuver. As with many maneuvers in flying, we're not chasing a particular number, and we're not chasing a particular amount of climb to achieve, but we have warning signs or signals that will tell us that we are in fact achieving that max performance. So again, that's pretty straightforward. So we'll get right into a procedure for this maneuver. So right over here, procedure. We're going to set up this maneuver like we do with all others by starting with our pre-maneuver flow. This will be completed in the cruise configuration, so we're going to keep flaps up. We're going to use our max rich mixture for the day. And whatever else you might use, say for example for a cruise checklist or for a departure checklist, just keep that aircraft clean and stable. Okay, once we do that, we're going to set up the maneuvers. So set up maneuver. Importantly, there's no minimum altitude requirement for this maneuver because we're climbing. So we're going to be gaining altitude anyway. Of course, maintain a safe distance. More importantly is the speed to start at. So the goal is to start pretty much at or below maneuvering speed. So I think a good speed to use is maybe 95 knots, which is about 2,200 RPMs in the Cessna 172. Give or take, and in other aircraft it will be similar, but maybe not so precise. And then we'll pick an outside visual reference that we can use for our heading guidance. So pick references. Outside, and this will pretty much just be for the 180-degree point. An important consideration when you're choosing that 180-degree reference point is that you're going to be at a very high nose-up pitch attitude at the end of this maneuver. So make sure you pick something that you can see reliably out that little side window when you're finishing in that high nose-up attitude. So something like a road where you can just kind of glance down at that side window and you're going to be able to see right straight ahead of you where your 180-degree point is. And then, of course, as we always do before we start a maneuver, we're going to clear the area. Get that out of there. Clear the area. And of course, that will make this little section here our pre-maneuver flow. Or maybe a better, more consistent way to do that is just our setup, since I already kind of said pre-maneuver checklist. So we'll just say the setup for that initial set. Now, once you have yourself lined up on your reference point, you're going to establish your first 90 degrees of turn. This is going to be a continuous turn, so you're not going to stop at the 90-degree point. But the 90-degree point will prove important. So what you're going to do to start your turn is going to enter a 30-degree bank. And then, at the same time, start picking the nose up. So smoothly increase pitch attitude. And add full power. You want to pick up the nose to an attitude and at a pace that will allow you to be about 5 to 10 knots above stall when you reach your 180-degree point. So you don't want to actually enter a stall because then you're not achieving full performance, but that stall horn should be coming on right at the end of that maneuver, right? But in general, this is a smooth entry. Keep your movements controlled and keep your aircraft coordinated, right? Now, that's really the defining feature of every single commercial maneuver, is just to stay controlled, stay ahead of the plane, stay oriented. All right? So, something important to keep in mind. This first 90 degrees, and I'll draw this out as a diagram. So imagine you're starting the maneuver right here as this aircraft, and you're going to make that 180-degree turn. This first 90 degrees of turn, you want this to be constant bank, at 30 degrees. Constant bank 30 degrees. And then you're going to have changing pitch. All right? So changing pitch, what does that mean? That means just that you're going to be picking that nose up smoothly and surely throughout that first 90 degree turn. Once you hit 90 degrees, so you're halfway through the maneuver, you're kind of at this this little point there. It's going to be max pitch up right there. Once you hit that max pitch up, you're going to hold it throughout the maneuver. So this is 90 degrees, max pitch up. Now, so that means reach max pitch at 90 degrees. Then, throughout the second half of that 180-degree course reversal, so your second 90 degrees of turn, you're going to maintain your pitch attitude and start easing out of the bank. So, in second half of turn, hold pitch up, and smoothly ease out of the bank. Smoothly reduce bank. Excuse me there. So this second 90 degrees of turn is going to be constant pitch. Constant, let's move the pitch down here. And changing bank. Throughout that second half of the turn. Something you'll see in the airplane in that second half of turn. As your aircraft slows down, there's less airflow moving over those control surfaces. You will remember you will need to increase your control deflection in the aircraft to hold the same force on the surrounding air. So we'll practice using more and more pitch up or more yoke, aft yoke throughout the turn, throughout the second half of the turn, rather, to hold the constant pitch attitude relative to the horizon. Now, when you roll out on that 180 degree point, your stall horn should just be starting to sound. You should just start hearing kind of like the faint chirps. Maybe it's starting to get a little louder. You don't want to stall, remember, right? We want to maintain max performance. We want to hold the same right below stall. But we're going to roll out of turn. Just below stall speed. Just below stall. And at this point, you're going to hold for 2 to 3 seconds. So hold pitch up. Two to 3 seconds. And I'm going to write it again for emphasis. Just below stall. And then once you've held that, 0.8 is slowly reduce pitch. And return to cruise flight. So again, it's not really a complex maneuver, right? So you can kind of see in this procedure here, it's not really a complex maneuver. The whole principle of it is to really nail the difference between the first and second half of turn. So again, first half of turn being constant bank changing pitch, second half of turn being constant pitch changing bank, to get yourself to that max performance altitude gain, that max pitch up just below stall at that 180 degree point. So go out with your instructor, fly the maneuver, get used to increasing those control deflections in the cockpit on the second half of the maneuver. Leave any comments down below of anything you noticed from the video. I wish you all blue skies and tailwinds. Fly safe.